Chicago School. The first truly modern architecture was born in the American Midwest. The Chicago School pioneered the technology and aesthetic of the skyscraper. Using revolutionary steel frame construction, architects like Louis Sullivan designed tall buildings with a clear structure, a ground floor for retail, a shaft of identical office floors, and a decorative top. Its philosophy, form follows function, rejected historical ornament in favor of a style derived from the building's purpose, paving the way for the century of modernism to come. Arts and crafts. As a reaction against the perceived soullessness of industrial mass production, the arts and crafts movement prized hand craftsmanship, natural materials, and simple, honest forms. Its architecture features visible construction with exposed wooden beams and handcrafted details in wood and stone. Hallmarks of the style are low-pitched roofs with wide eaves, large porches, and an emphasis on creating a warm, functional, and artistic home. It was a philosophy of living, arguing that a well-crafted house would improve the lives of the people inside. Art Nouveau. At the turn of the 20th century, Art Nouveau rebelled against historical styles by embracing the flowing, asymmetrical forms of nature. The aesthetic centers on sinuous, whiplash curves in ironwork, stone, and wood, often inspired by plant stalks, vines, and flowers. Buildings by Victor Horta in Brussels or Gaudí in Barcelona feature undulating facades, ornate balconies, and interiors where every detail, from staircases to door handles, was part of a unified organic design. It was a brief but spectacular burst of decorative energy. Expressionist. Emerging primarily in Germany after World War I, Expressionist architecture used distorted, fragmented, and sculptural forms to convey intense emotion. It rejected traditional rules in favor of dynamic, often bizarre shapes that were more like art than conventional buildings. Its look comes from dramatic curves, twisted structures, and the use of brick or concrete to create monolithic, almost cave-like forms. The Einstein Tower by Erich Mendelsohn is a prime example, a building that seems to be molded from a single piece of clay. De Stijl, a Dutch artistic movement that sought universal harmony through pure abstraction. In architecture, its most famous creation is the Rietveld Schroeder House. De Stijl is characterized by its strict use of primary colors with black, white, and gray, and its pure geometry of horizontal and vertical lines. Buildings are composed of intersecting planes and panels, with walls that can slide and reconfigure the space. It was a radical attempt to create a three-dimensional version of a Piet Mondrian painting. Constructivism. Born from the revolutionary fervor of the early Soviet Union, Constructivism was an architecture of radical social change and futuristic vision. The movement emphasized visible construction and the dynamic interplay of geometric forms. Its aesthetic is known for abstract, skeletal structures, large expanses of glass, and the inclusion of elements like radio antennae and projecting speaker platforms. Though few of the ambitious designs were ever built, their daring forms still look like they belong in the future. Bauhaus. More than a style, the Bauhaus was a revolutionary German school that fused art, craft, and technology. Its architectural philosophy prized function, simplicity, and mass producibility above all else. Hallmarks of the style are clean, cubic forms, flat roofs, and a complete lack of ornamentation. It favored modern materials like steel, glass, and concrete. The school's building in Dessau, designed by Walter Gropius, with its glass curtain wall and asymmetrical plan, is the ultimate expression of this influential movement. Art Deco. This style captured the glamour and machine-age optimism of the Roaring Twenties. Art Deco is known for its bold, vertical lines, sleek forms, and geometric ornamentation. Its aesthetic features sharp angles, symmetrical patterns, and stylized motifs like sunbursts, chevrons, and zigzags. Architects used luxurious materials like polished stone, chrome, and terracotta to create a sense of opulence. Famous skyscrapers like the Chrysler Building in New York epitomize this elegant and decorative modern style. Streamline Moderne. An offshoot of Art Deco, this style softened sharp angles into sleek curves inspired by the aerodynamics of trains, planes, and ocean liners. It emerged during the 1930s, featuring smooth, white stucco facades, horizontal lines, and curved corner windows. The aesthetic suggests speed, efficiency, and a hopeful vision of a technological future. This clean, futuristic look was often used for buildings related to transport, like bus stations and airport terminals. International style. This was the global, corporate version of European modernism that became dominant after World War II. Its philosophy was summed up as less is more. The style is characterized by its lightweight, machine-like appearance, with a steel or concrete frame, glass curtain walls, and a complete absence of decoration. Its buildings are typically rectilinear boxes with flat roofs, often raised off the ground on columns. The Seagram building by Mies van der Rohe in New York is the definitive example. Mid-century modern. This American style took European modernism and made it warmer, more informal, and deeply connected to the landscape. It stressed a seamless flow between indoors and outdoors, using large glass walls, open floor plans, and natural materials like wood and stone. Characterized by clean lines, gentle organic curves, and flat or gently pitched roofs, this style was perfectly suited to the new, optimistic suburban lifestyle of post-war America. The case study houses in California are iconic examples. Tropical modernism. As modernism spread globally, architects in tropical regions like Brazil, Sri Lanka, and India adapted its principles to hot, humid climates. Tropical modernism is a style designed for ventilation and shade. It is characterized by the use of local materials, wide overhanging roofs, and buildings that are often raised on columns to capture breezes. A key feature is the blurring of inside and outside space, using courtyards, verandas, and perforated screen walls, or brise-soleil, to create cool, airy environments. Brutalism. Emerging after World War II, Brutalism was a powerful and controversial style that favored raw, exposed materials. Its aesthetic centers on massive, monolithic forms made of unfinished concrete, which often shows the texture of the wooden molds used to cast it. Visually, it is known for its heavy, blocky shapes, deep-set windows, and an imposing, fortress-like presence. Though often criticized as cold, admirers praise its powerful, sculptural honesty. Metabolism. A visionary Japanese movement from the 1960s that imagined cities as living, evolving organisms. The architects of Metabolism proposed massive, flexible megastructures. The style is characterized by a central, permanent core, or spine, onto which smaller, prefabricated capsules or modules could be plugged in and replaced over time. The Nakagan Capsule Tower in Tokyo is the most famous built example, a concrete tower with individual apartment pods bolted onto its sides. High-tech. This style celebrates the building's engineering and technology by putting it on full display. High-tech architects took the structural and service elements, like steel frames, pipes, ducts, and elevators, and placed them on the outside of the building. This creates a highly textured, inside-out aesthetic. The Centre Pompidou in Paris, by Rogers and Piano, with its color-coded external pipes and escalator, is the most famous example of this expressive, machine-like style. Postmodernism, a direct and often playful reaction against the rigid seriousness of modernism. Postmodern architecture brought back color, historical references, and a sense of humor. The style is characterized by its use of eclectic shapes, brightly colored materials, and exaggerated classical elements like oversized columns or cartoonish pediments. Architects like Michael Graves and Robert Venturi rejected stark functionalism in an attempt to make buildings more communicative and engaging. Deconstructivism, an evolution of postmodernism, this style takes buildings apart and reassembles them in chaotic, fragmented forms. It is an architecture of controlled chaos. The aesthetic is known for its lack of symmetry, its use of sharp, jagged angles and surfaces that appear to collide or peel away from the structure. Buildings by Frank Gehry, like the Guggenheim Museum Bilbao, look like giant, dynamic sculptures, with curving metal skins that seem to defy gravity and logic. Minimalism. This style strips architecture down to its absolute essential elements of space, light, and material. Minimalist architects create serene, uncluttered spaces with a focus on perfect, simple geometry and a limited palette of high-quality materials, especially smooth, exposed concrete. The work of architects like Tadao Ando or John Pawson is known for its masterful use of natural light, which enters through precise openings to create a calm, almost spiritual atmosphere. Parametricism, a 21st century style that is entirely dependent on advanced computer software. Parametricism uses algorithms to create complex, fluid, and dynamic forms that would be impossible to design by hand. Its aesthetic is one of continuous, flowing lines and seamless, curving surfaces, often resembling organic systems or digital data. Buildings by Zaha Hadid from this era often look like frozen liquid, a style sometimes called blob architecture. Sustainable. More a philosophy than a single style, this architecture seeks to minimize its environmental impact. Visually, it can take many forms, but its aesthetic is often defined by the visible integration of green technology. Key features include green roofs covered in vegetation, walls of solar panels, natural ventilation systems, and the use of recycled or locally sourced materials. The building itself becomes part of the ecological system, designed to work with nature rather than against it. What is your take on modern architecture? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching.